Okay, we're here with Harry Bradish, who is a local resident who also fought in D-Day, and we're going to hear some of your recollections about that time.
Yeah, I'd like to tell you a little something before D-Day.
Okay.
We were getting ready to go, and they were telling us they're going to come in and tell us where we're going. So they took us to this beautiful big mansion. You know, the whole company was there, this mansion. So then they brought us in, one squad at a time, had a big table with sand on it. And it was the same sand that was on the beaches of Normandy that they picked up at night, you know. So they told us exactly where we were going to go, exactly where we were going to hit, exactly what we were going to do. And I'm thinking, here's the biggest thing in the world that ever happened that I know of. And I can't say a damn thing about it. that really always bothered me. I'd never been able to get out and tell anybody. The whole world was waiting to know, you know?
Right.
And that really got me.
What kind of feelings did were there amongst amongst your outfit when you were getting ready to go in there?
Well, they were pretty quiet.
Yeah.
And we couldn't go nowhere. They had us after we found out where we're going and when we're going. Why, we were under guard with MPs standing there with machine guns.
Yeah.
And that was it. We didn't go over or say anything to anybody. So we finally packed up and went. But the sea was rough. The channel was rough, awful rough. So we come up with our boat. It was a long boat, big boat, hold about 300 men. And we come up on the Normandy in the early in the morning. It was still dark out, you know. So as soon as daylight hit, they said, okay, over the side. And I remember we was going by our little boat, you know, going into land. The battleship Texas was sitting there. They were having a duel with I found out later, it was with a railroad gun. And they had the big, heavy shells going overhead both ways. And the sailors on the Texas were hollering, go get them, you old boy, and all that stuff. I wish by that time I could have been on the Texas.
Yeah.
So we went on and hit the beach, and it was kind of rough. There was quite a few bodies laying around already, you know. Young kid lay there, he was crying for his mother. And another one was crying for Blessed Mary. I don't know who won out, but they were hurt bad, though. I don't think they lived long. Then we went up the sand dune and broke over. It was supposed to be a big, high sand dune, you know. But heck, it was down low, and water washed it away or something. So we got up there over that. There's another guy laying there, head gone. I thought, holy Jesus, what did we get into here? Wow. So my squad was supposed to go as far as the swamp. That was about a mile. And we were supposed to set up machine guns and get ready for a counterattack, you know. And the rest of the outfit, they worked on the beach. They get with the engineers, and they're helping things across the beach and stuff like that. It was kind of scary, I'll tell you. Pretty scary.
Yeah. Now, what was your outfit?
Our outfit was the 51st Engineer Combat Battalion.
Okay.
And we were trained just for that beach at that time. But when we got over everything there and the way it should be, then we had to have a breakout at St. Lo. So that's when we first broke out of the place there. So we got, I want to tell you about the planes. We were getting ready for St. Lo. Of course, nobody knew what was going on, but we were all ready to show up. And there was, well, I think they said around 3,000 bombers they had. I never saw so many planes in all my life. There was tier after tier of them, you know. There were different heights and everything. They're coming over. They're bombing St. Lo. And I thought, boy, if I was a German, I'd run right back to Germany as fast as I could go, you know. They were really banging away, but
Yeah.
they knocked a lot of our planes down too.
Uh-huh.
So then we went on from there. We brought through there. We went out into the central part of the country more, and fought.
Yeah.
And we went up to Holland, and we fought. We got there just in time for the Battle of the Bulge to start when they broke through Aachen.
Mm-hmm.
So we got there. Somebody figured it out. We got there in time anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And we had set up our machine guns and stuff. I remember setting them up right in the guy's front lawn, An old fella, he come out of the house, he said something in his language. I don't know what he's talking about.
Uh-huh.
Probably get off my grass, because we dug a big hole there and sandbagged it. And so we had to wait there for the Germans to come up. But they never did. Never got that far.
Uh-huh.
So we were on to other things.
Uh-huh. Now, I was asking the other guys, did you feel like things were turning around at a certain point when you...
Yeah, because I hit on Utah Beach. And Utah was one of the easier beaches.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a break there.
Mm-hmm.
So they were, see what they were doing. They were holding there's, what the heck was there now? My memory's not as good as it used to be. Well, anyway, we finally, one of the other guys were talking about going into Cherbourg.
Mm-hmm.
We tried it, but they had a heck of an army in Cherbourg, the Germans did.
Uh-huh.
We had to wait for reinforcements and everything else to come up there. So they took us out of that fray and went on with the 82nd. We were assigned to them at that time,
Mm-hmm.
And then they were assigned to the 4th Army Division after that. And the next battle was in the Hurtgen Forest, the forest in there.
Mm-hmm.
That was my first sight of Tiger tank, German Tiger tank. They were big.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I had a bazooka. It was in the forest there, this squad of us, and this Tiger tank comes through the woods and sit there, and I lined up that bazooka and everything. I got it all set to really let go,
Uh-huh.
And I did, but it was a poor shot. I just hit the bumper like on a foot it would be, in a car. But I hit that thing and it glanced off from it. And God, I saw all those big guns on that thing start to come around, They were going like this. And I said to the young kid who was helping me at that time, let's get the heck out of here, We run down a ravine down through there. They never did shoot at us, so
Uh-huh.
I don't think they found us, really.
Now, you said combat engineers.
Yeah.
Now, what kind of stuff did you have to do usually?
Well, combat engineers, their main job is where the infantry's come up against a pillbox or anything like that. It's your job to knock the pillbox out.
Mm-hmm.
It's out of the way, because we got the explosives and stuff like that. So. And we also put a couple bridges across the Albert Canal.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, I don't know. There was a lot of shooting and banging and stuff going on. That's for
Yeah.
damn sure.
And like I was saying before, I was asking the other guys about, did you ever hear much from back home when all this was going on? Or?
I wrote a lot of letters home. They said you could write all the letters you want, but they won't go out until after the invasion.
Mm-hmm.
So I wrote a lot of them. I kept right on writing like I always did. And my family kept writing to me, but then they weren't getting anything back from me.
Yeah.
And that really scared them,
Yeah.
'Cause, they didn't know what the heck was happening. That's so because we wrote so often.
Uh-huh.
So my mother, God bless her, I know she never missed Mass in the morning for me.
Uh-huh.
Every morning she went to church, went to Mass. And of course my wife, and she had her baby. She was 8 months old when I went into service.
Uh-huh. And when did you get out? When did you get out?
When did I get out? About 2 years later.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I spent 19 months overseas.
Uh-huh.
Then there was about 6, 7 months spent in this country, so getting ready to go over, learning.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Any other things about D-Day that stick in your mind?
No, not really. It was a real scary day, I know that. I never had anybody shoot at me before.
It was the first time.
It was the first time, you know.
Yeah.
It got real scary.
Mm-hmm.
The Germans with their 88 guns, artillery pieces, they were good with them. They were awful good with them.
Mm-hmm.
I know we had to go up a ditch to get up where our machine gun was going to be. And we got up there, and our 50 caliber machine gun, the barrel wasn't there. So this lieutenant says, well, anybody see the barrel? Well, this one guy says, this is Virgil Hoskins, the guy's name was. He says, he's right from the hills, you know. And he said he's had the barrel. Anybody know where he was? He says, yeah, he was going, I saw him go to the pillbox, one guy said, down there. So, geez, we had to go back down there to get the pillbox. And boy, you had to go back because they were really shelling that beach. You know? So we get down there, and sure enough, the lieutenant grabs hold of me to go with him. And we get down there, and here was Virgil. He was just sitting there with the barrel over his arms. He was scared to death. He couldn't move. He was so scared. And there was Germans laying around on the floor that somebody got earlier.
Uh-huh.
So we kicked the lieutenant told me to take the barrel. So I took the barrel. He grabbed the other guy, and we got back to the base. We were back to the people again, our own people, you know. So outside of that, but then they didn't. The second night got bombarded by the dive bombers, the Stuka dive bombers. Boy, they come in with they drop chandelier flares. Mm-hmm. That lights the whole ground up just like day, you know.
Uh-huh.
You'd think it was day. And I had a foxhole dog I was in. And all of a sudden, it didn't seem to me it was really shallow or really deep enough, you know. Because the Stukas come down and they scream when they come down, you know.
Uh-huh.
And boy, they really scare you. So by this time, the Navy had knocked out some of the flares. Mm-hmm. And I knew where a corporal was. He had a nice, great big hole to get in through, you know. And I go over and I jump in his hole. There's about 5 more guys in there. I guess we all love company, you know. All liked each other get away from everything.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. There's so many things that happen, you know.
Yeah.
Stuff that you can't remember everything.
All in the space of a few days, too.
Huh?
In the space of a few days.
Oh, yeah, sure. Well, I didn't even get anything to eat the first 2 days. I wasn't hungry.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I could have got something to eat. But we were supposed to have the food truck was supposed to be on the beach the first day. That didn't come in for a week later, you know. I got it off the Navy. The Navy fed me. So.
But there was probably a lot of people that weren't doing much eating or sleeping.
No, I don't think there
day.
were. No. But when things kind of quieted down, then all of a sudden you realize, hey, I'm kind of hungry,
Yeah.
you know.
Right. Yeah. All right, Phil. Well, or not Phil. I just wanted to read this too. Bob asked me to read this. This was a letter you got from Harry Truman. It said,
he issued them out after the war. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. To you who answered the call of your country and served in its armed forces to bring about the total defeat of the enemy, I extend the heartfelt thanks of a grateful nation. As one of the nation's finest, you undertook the most severe task one can be called upon to perform, because you demonstrated the fortitude, resourcefulness, and calm judgment necessary to carry out that task We now look to you for leadership and example in further exalting our country in peace. Harry Truman, written about Harry Bradish. And I think that goes for all the people we talked to today. And thanks for coming and sharing your memories with us.
Well, thanks for asking.
All right.